Ryan, another good point against Wrexham, and a good performance. Would you say that was the best in terms of the overall performance since you came in?
Yeah, there's obviously some elements of the game that was very good. I think we've been solid defensively. Asking now for the top end of the pitch to be a bit more ruthless and creating more chances and scoring more goals, of course. It hasn't been for the lack of trying, but yeah, I think against a team of that ilk of Wrexham and to perform the way we did is obviously always a good sign. I think Barnsley was obviously a good game. I think Bolton was cancelled each other out, but was a good game. I think we had some good chances. So, and then even Exeter, there was some good patterns of play. Leyton Orient was a little bit different, we know, but yeah, there's been some good signs, mate, which I'm really pleased about. And we need a little bit more good signs at the top end, and if we get that, because the gelling and relishing it a little bit, I'm giving people a bit more freedom and saying, when you're up there, you've got to make it count. So, yeah, mate, it was a good performance. It'd have been better if we'd have took 3 points rather than 1. But we move on again. We're on the road again to Shrewsbury Town, and we've got to look forward to getting points there as well.
You say about gelling and coming together. Do you think we're building now? They're starting to build some combinations up top. Malise, Dale linking up.
Yeah, well, they're getting to know each other a bit more. If you think of it, Dale's played most of the season on his own, and then he's had different partnerships. And Chrissy was up there with him in the early few games. Malise is making that spot his home now, if you like, alongside Dale. And yet I can see that the more improvements on the training pitch, which is always pleasing, because when you see that and the connections and the link-ups, it's definitely something I want to see more of, especially on a Saturday or on a Friday or Monday, whenever the games are. But yeah, I can see it in training, and hopefully it develops on Friday afternoon.
Shrewsbury up next, and they are literally fighting for their lives. They have to win. Will that pose a different sort of challenge to that of what Wrexham threw at us at the weekend?
Yeah, probably a bigger challenge. I've stressed that to the players, that they're not going to leave no stone unturned. Michael's gone in there short notice and trying to put his stamp on it. You can see the difference already in the games we've watched. And people's livelihoods are at stake, and I've been in that position myself many times. Well, not many times, a few times as a player, and it's not nice. So in terms of that, we're not going to, we're going to show Shrewsbury Town the respect they deserve. They've had a tough season. They've had a change of few managers. I think he's the third manager now, which obviously doesn't help. But yet we're not going there thinking, just because the bottom of the league, that it's a given. It's not. We've got to fight for everything, and we've got to work hard to get it. That's to get any sort of points. If you don't, you'll be undone. And that's my message to the players and everyone associated, that we're going there. We've got to go there with our tails high, but we've got to earn the right. And definitely going to be a tough place to go.
Just in terms of selection, I appreciate there's a couple of days away from the game at the moment, but given the positive performance from the group on Saturday, are you tempted to maybe go and change given the performance?
No, we won't change what we're about. I think the improvements, as you can see in the personnel, we're obviously cautious the game's coming up. But we'll pick a team that we feel can go there and win, let alone, draw. We need more points than just one, which we know. So we'll be looking at a team that we feel can go there and improve and be better, obviously, in the final third.
And then obviously Rotherham, it's a similar turnaround time in terms of days from a Saturday to a Tuesday, but with it being weekend and a little bit of a different, the Easter fixtures, do you enjoy these sort of games?
I'll enjoy them after the weekend, yeah, I normally do, but listen, it's not about enjoying anything at the moment, it's about getting as many points as we possibly can. And I've said to the group, we don't want to be looking over our shoulder, we need to be, doing what we need to do best, and that's getting goals and scoring goals and getting more points on the board. We know what we're going to probably need, and we've got 5 games to do that. Other teams have obviously got to win, we're aware of that situation, but for me it's totally focused just on Shrewsbury Town, and then the next one will take care of itself.
And it's really important, isn't it, that you talk about getting points on the board, but 5 games left, and it's important the season doesn't peter out and we keep battling and fighting right to the end.
It won't peter out, there's not a chance, we won't let it. These lads, as I said the other week about, wanting to impress, they've been excellent so far since they come through the building on a daily basis. The attitude and application has been brilliant. The training's been very good. We're putting more and more into the group, telling them what we want, what we need, and they're listening and learning. Yeah, sometimes a lack of quality or decision making will cost us in the top end, but it's not for the lack of trying. But I definitely won't be letting it peter out. We need points on the board, and points on the board quickly.
Just finally, I think against Wrexham, the fans, for the first time in a long time, they stayed back, really did stay back and applaud, and it was quite noticeable that, and it feels like we are a collective group and moving forward in the right direction.
Yeah, the fans have been brilliant on and off the pitch, if you like, since I've come to the football club, and that's what we're going to need. It just doesn't happen overnight. We know there's been a lot of season ticket holders that have not come to the games. That's up to me and the players to get them back to the games and fill the Brick Stadium, because that's what we want. Yet we weren't going to be able to fill it outright, but especially when there's away teams bringing a good following, we want to make sure that we're more than that, and we want to make sure it's a tough place to come and perform, because with our fans on side and them giving us everything as well as us giving them everything, it's definitely going to help for the future. And it's a big thank you from me, the players and the staff, because it means a lot, especially when they stay behind. They could easily just leave, but I think they're showing the appreciation. I think they're understanding what we're trying to do, and once this season's done and dusted, we'll definitely be improving to be better for next year.